No matter where you go, there you are. What does this mean? You may have heard this at some point in your life. Somebody said it, either it was in a movie, maybe it was in a book or something, whatever. But it's a philosophy adage of you can change the scenery, but you cannot escape your thoughts, feelings, and experience. Okay, that has to come from within. So it means the change has to come from within. This is something that has become evident to me. I've been this saying has been mulling over my head for several days over the past couple of weeks because of different examination of my lived experience now. And this might not always be apparent to you, but if you can identify that you are living the same experience in a different scenery, in a different setting with the different characters, supporting characters, that can help you see what you need to identify within yourself that needs to be changed, such as my own experience, why I am going over this saying in my head several times is my current job. While I like my job, I am noticing glaring similarities at this job with previous jobs. Let me give you examples. Like you're gung-ho, excited for the company, excited for the prospect. You read the job description, you apply, you go through the whole process, you get picked, you get selected, right? So you start your job. Now you got this whole ramp up time and you're learning your position, you're getting there, and then you finally feel like you've hit your groove. You're starting to like make strides and do better and improve. And then all of a sudden you hit a snag. And now it seems like you're just running into all these problems because something within the company drastically changed, and everything is broken. Like I've had a job where I decided to leave because for me the writing was on the wall that the company's way of doing business was broken. The systems that they were using were antiquated and broken. And many of those issues are what caused the customer service issues, what caused issues for their customers. And if they were unwilling to fix those problems that customers were going to be having were going to continue. Whether it was policy, whether it was their systems, and I'm seeing the same thing play out now. And I also kind of liken it to the Hunger Games because literally every week when I have my 2 days off, I come back from my 2 days off, there's some stupid change that has occurred. So I'm like, okay, this is what they've gone and changed on me this week, and I also liken that. I use the same terminology, Hunger Games, when I'm running errands and I have days where literally everybody is zigging and zagging and cutting me off and doing all kinds of things, and I just cannot catch a break. But in those instances, I know I'm not centered. If I'm having a negative experience with a customer or something like that, I know I'm not centered. Or like I said, if I have many people causing me, like just being annoying out in public when I'm running errands or just doing something, or they're cutting me off, like I have bad actors in traffic, because where I happen to live, there is an enormous amount of unnecessary traffic. It's really just, it's ridiculously unnecessary. But I digress. There's a lot of cars on the road, and you have a lot of people who just really are, they don't drive properly. They disobey, rules of the road, all this stuff. So you will get people that cut you off, and these are things, and so that defensive driving, that aggressive driving is something that is inherent in the New York area, and I'm sure it's inherent, like I know it's inherent in like the Boston area, and I'm sure LA and those kind of places where there's a lot of congestion. So it's very easy to get triggered by that stuff. But my point is that the stuff keeps continuing because something in me hasn't been, some program within me hasn't been eradicated, and I keep having the experience. No matter where I am, I keep having the experience. No matter how I try to change my scenery, I keep having the experience. No matter how many times I change my job, I keep having the same experience. No matter how many romantic partners I changed, I kept having the same experience. So it is you. You're the problem. You're not the problem. But if you're finding yourself continuing to have this problem, there's still work to be done. And it's not anything to beat yourself up about, but it's something to be aware of, that, okay, and literally I could go back to key points in my life, every job, every relationship, if you want to call it situationship, if I think that's a better terminology from my experiences, and identify, yep, that's the same problem. Yep, that's the same thing. A same thing, different players. That's all it is. It's a different story. It's the same story, different characters. And that's it. So you have to find the words to help your subconscious, or help your inner, more your subconscious, your inner child. Your inner child's holding on to your traumas and your resentments, and your feelings of unworthiness, and your feelings of being unloved. So that's different. But your subconscious is holding these programs, and those are programs that need to be erased, deleted, and rewritten. Well, erased and deleted are the same thing. You know what I mean. So that's really what I wanted to share with that. Another thing, and this is because this is based on a conversation, but these are things that I wanted to include in this video. This is not directly related, but this is about, it kind of is, because, for example, with traffic being, prone to causing road rage. Recently, Taylor Swift announced her new album release, and she was on Travis and Jason Kelsey's podcast, announcing that. And in the podcast, it was like 2 hours long, she said something about how people she knows, they will get, more other celebrities, they will get upset if somebody leaves a negative comment on their social media, and they will allow it to ruin their life. And they're like, you're like obsessing over some guy calling you mid, and like, that's your energy. That's the energy you're spending for the rest of your day. Like, the energy you spend is your day. And then she said, you should consider your energy is expensive, and you should consider your energy as a luxury item. Not everybody can afford that thing. Not everybody can afford your energy. Therefore, that should tell you, do not let yourself be sucked into the drama. Do not fall for the trap, and rein it in and contain it. Don't respond. Don't react. Don't let your energy be taken over something like that. That was such a simplified way of saying everything Judy has said. Sometimes it's just a matter of how something is said that really just resonates, and you're like, oh yes, I get that, and that's so perfect. But that's a good reminder. That's something you should really remind yourself. You are a luxury item. You are a luxury item, and your energy is so expensive. It is the most precious commodity in this game. There is nothing else that is more valuable in this game. And that value is inherently you. And you're the only one who should have that. You don't want to give it to the Matrix. You don't want to give it to low lives, so to speak. Okay? All right. That's all I wanted to say for today. Thank you. Be well. Bye.